Hi everyone, welcome. FPLMattDay here, and this is my Game Week 30 team selection, including my best transfer selections for everyone. So I'm going to go through a couple of my transfers that I'm looking at making and some transfers I recommend for all of you fantasy managers out there. Please like this video. Just take 5 seconds of your time to like the video. All the support is really appreciated. Get your comments in as well. Let me know what you think of my picks, my team, and any transfers you are thinking of making. And please subscribe to the channel if you are new here. I will start off now. Let's share the screen, and I'm going to go straight into my side, starting with the goalkeeper. And for those that have followed my team selections over the last few weeks and my podcasts, no surprises. It's Kepa in goal, away at Wolves. The return of Frank Lampard. He is back at Chelsea till the end of the season. They play against a Wolves side who are traditionally quite low scoring, although they have found their feet of late. But he has to go in there as my number one this week. You can also see there just in the corner, I got 5.6 million in the bank, but I will keep that a secret for now about what I plan to do with that money. And I've got one free transfer there in the corner. Also predicted points for 65 with this lineup, but you will see the full squad very shortly. But Kepa stays in goal. Let's go to my defence. Kieran Trippier is in there, ever present, did really well in double game week 29. Then alongside him, Luke Shaw, home to Everton. He is an injury doubt. So I will be waiting on the press conferences from Ten Hag. If Ten Hag says he's fit to start, I'll put him straight into my team. But he did have a bit of a hamstring in his shoe. You might think United probably won't risk him in this one. But he's there for now. Otherwise, I will have to bench him. I won't transfer him out. I'll bench him, hoping that he will then play against Nottingham Forest in game week 31. Then to the far side there, you see Sutar. He was one of my -4 transfers for double game week 29. It was a gamble. It was a risk. Taking out Ben White did not pay off. And Sutar, to make it even worse, missed a sitter from a couple of yards out. It was an open goal. I would have got the Sutar goal. I would have got the Maddison assist. Just wasn't to be. But Bournemouth home in this one. Look, I'm not expecting anything from Leicester in this. So it's just going to be an absolute bonus if Sutar can, one, keep a clean sheet, and two, use that massive height and frame of his and score a header or something. Because if I can get some points out of him this week, get a bit of luck, and he might be able to bang a header in, then that with a clean sheet will pay back, the hit I took for him and those Ben White points I lost last week. So, yeah, look, sometimes you've got to take gambles in FPL. Sutar was a gamble. Probably didn't need to do it. I did it 2 minutes before deadline. I thought I'd have a bit of fun with the game, and it didn't pay off. But I'm going to give him the start this week at home to Bournemouth. Then let's go into my midfield, which right now, there is a midfield 5 in there. And there is going to probably be some changes that with transfers, which I'll go through shortly. But we'll go there. You've got Saka away at Liverpool. I think with Liverpool's form, the way they've been defending, got to keep Saka in there with his form he's had over recent weeks. Marcus Rashford there. The captain's armband's on him for now, but I don't think it will stay with him because one of my transfers is who I want to captain. Then I've got March and Mitoma from Brighton. Probably only going to start one of those two players, and I think I will edge towards Mitoma because whenever Brighton score, he seems to be involved. I am a little bit worried, though, that Solly March might finally get that goal that he's overdue. They play Tottenham away, the team I support, but we're not on great form. We don't look good. It wouldn't put it past me if Brighton win this game. They did win this 1-0 at this stadium last season. And then in the middle, James Maddison, another one of my transfers in game week 29. He has to stay in there. Home to Bournemouth. I'm expecting maybe some sort of bounce back or something from Leicester. Well, you hope so when they lose a manager, but yeah, they've not done anything to address the loss of Brendan Rodgers. But look, we can hope with Leicester, with James Maddison there in midfield. So let's go to my current front two. Ollie Watkins home to Nottingham Forest. Hoping for another Ollie Watkins return. This man's been on fire. 17 points in double game week 29. Scored in both games. Then alongside him, Harry Kane, home to Brighton. Has returned against Brighton in the reverse fixture, which was nice. He got the bonus that day as well. Again, if Spurs score, it's more than likely going to be him with the goal or involved in the goal. So I can't drop Harry Kane even for, what is a tough fixture on paper for Tottenham. Let's go to my bench. And there you can see Neto is on that bench. Have to play Kepa over him, in my opinion. Although Leicester have been very poor, they can still score goals and at home. So I've gone with Neto on the bench. And then Ben Mee, home to Newcastle. Look, I could risk and sort of play Ben Mee if Shaw gets injured and hope that game ends in a 0-0, because Brentford are very tight at home. And Newcastle, although they absolutely hammered West Ham by 5-1 the other night, some of their tighter games this season have been 0-0 draws or 1-0 wins. And obviously, if it's a 0-0 draw, it's good for Ben Mee and it's good for Kieran Trippier. Then Tony there, he's on that bench for now, but I'm going to go through my transfers in a second. And he is on the chopping block to be transferred out. And it's tough because he's done so well for me. But I think there's just a slightly more important transfer for me to make for this game week. And Tony gets that one booking. He misses game week 31 anyway. Does return for game week 32. But I'm only looking at what is in front of me over this next couple of game weeks with Tony, especially if he's on that booking. And SG Panan, another really good servant for me in this team, has got a lot of points of late, but I do think we'll score. I think Spurs will score. I'm happy to bench him. Look, he does get subbed quite early, so if it's still a Brighton clean sheet up until the 60th minute and he gets an early sub, it can end up being some bonus points for him and a poor move by me. But I just think with the team I've got, that move is going to be the correct one. So let's zoom out. Let's go through my full squad. And as you can see, they're currently on the 3-5-2. So let's go through some transfer options I'm looking at. As I said, I've got the one transfer at the top, 5.6 million in the bank. And this current team gets a predicted points of 65. That's with Rashford as captain. These are the moves I'm looking at making, though. So Tony out. And the reason I want to move Tony on and not Watkins and Kane is I want to keep Kane for Bournemouth at home next week. Ollie Watkins' form is just unbelievable at the moment. Does play in blank game week 32 as well. Forest at home, I think that's a really good fixture for him. Forest aren't on form. Steve Cooper, his job is on the line. So for me, I think he's a really, really good transfer or player to keep and someone not to transfer out. So Watkins stays. And Tony, although he's been brilliant, one of the highest scoring strikers in the game, when I've got that amount of money in the bank up there, as you can see, 13.3 mil when I'm taking out Tony, you've got to bring the number 1 point scorer of the game back in. Erling Haaland, there he is. I can't not bring him back in. When you've seen him training on Man City's Instagram page all week, on their website, on their Twitter pages and all the social media, you can't not bring him in. What may happen is if Pep Guardiola does say that he isn't going to start, which is not like Pep Guardiola, he doesn't give much away. If I get any sort of feeling he's not going to start, then I won't make that move. But with all the training pictures, if we get positive news in Pep Guardiola's press conference today, he will come in. He's got Southampton away. They've conceded 5 goals in their last 2 home games. They're on really poor form. He will come straight into that lineup, and out will come Solly March. And I know Haaland doesn't play in game week 32 and Tony does, but Haaland's too important, in my opinion, over these next couple of games. Let's go to his information here. Southampton away, Leicester at home. Yeah, these games are just too big to not have Haaland in. And look, if he starts both, he might only get 60 minutes in the Southampton game. But 60 minutes, we know it's been proven, is enough for Haaland to come out and get 2 to 3 goals. Then Leicester at home, that's got a hat-trick all over it with Leicester's form at the moment. And obviously they're managerless right now. So I'm going to move that captain's armband onto Haaland. For me, I think he's just the best captain. I think he's the best captain if he's fit. Okay, Rashford, look, put it back to him. Predicted points stay the same, 66 as well. And look, he's got great stats at home, Rashford. He's scored, I think it's 9 home games in his last 10 home games. He scored 9 goals. And he's got that potential. Everton do capitulate away from home. Even though Sean Dyche does like to keep it tight, they've capitulated a few times away from home. We saw that in the Arsenal away game. But yeah, early kickoff. Man City have been on good form lately. They've been a bit up and down at St Mary's down the years. That has been a bit of a banana skin, but Southampton just aren't looking good, and they're conceding goals even at home as well. And I just think Haaland, he'll be hungry. He'll want goals. He hasn't played for a few weeks. Yeah, he's always just got that point to prove every game he plays. He just wants to keep scoring goals. It's like he just wants to show people how good he is at finishing. So he will then be my captain. And I'm looking at a -4. And a lot of people might be surprised because this gives a team 66 points. But I might get rid of one of these Brighton assets here. So Solly March would come out, go into my midfield. And I'm really liking this man here, Jack Harrison, right now. So Jack Harrison would then come into my lineup. And I might even then look to bench Mitoma. It would be Mitoma or Saka. And Mitoma's been brilliant. And I think if Brighton score, he's involved. But I'm looking at doing this. The predicted points does come off. But it gives me that extra player for game week 32. He's got Crystal Palace at home. Predicted points of 4.07. Home to Liverpool next week. It's a good game for him. Liverpool have obviously been vulnerable on the road. And then a nice Fulham away game in game week 32. So I am considering that -4. And look, it could be risky. I've got the players. I don't necessarily need to make it. But because I'm taking up Tony and I'm losing a game week 32 player, by making that early move now, for Harrison, it gives me that extra game week 32 player in hand now. So then when I get to game week 32, I can then bulk the team up even more with players because that is a blank game week. Bear in mind, I've still got my wild card, so I might then look to use that in 33. So I've got I can burn a couple of transfers. I can make a couple of hits ready for game week 32. So I'm not going to be using my free hit in that game week. I'll be using that at a later date. Let's go through a couple of other quick transfer possibilities. So if we take Harrison out there, and we'll put Solly March back in. Another possibility you could do is an SG Panan could come out. And then you could even go for another Newcastle defender. You could go for a Shah, who's been on good form there at Newcastle. If you look at these fixtures for Newcastle, game week 32, home to Spurs. Game week 33, away to Everton. Home to Southampton in game week 34. Arsenal, tricky game, but then Leeds away. There's some good games. Leicester home. But a popular choice as well is someone like Tyrone Mings, one of the most in-form defenders in the game right now. Home to Fulham in game week 33, as you can see there. 32, which is the blank, away to Brentford. Home to Newcastle in 31. And that Forest home game this week. So there is potential there for Tyrone Mings as well. But there you have it. That's going to be my full team selection. Let's move Mings out. Let's put SG Panan back in there so you can see what my team selection looks like with just the one move. Like I said, if I take a -4, it's probably going to be Harrison for Solly March. But this is going to be my team. If there is an injury to Luke Shaw, would I bring in Tyrone Mings for him on a -4 as well? Potentially, but like I said, if it's minor, I want to keep him for Forest next week. And then I'd probably just bring in Ben Mee there and hope for the 0-0 in the Newcastle versus Brentford game. So there you have it. That's my live team selection for game week 30 and my best transfer picks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please give the video a like. Subscribe if you are new here. I'm FPLMattDay. Hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.